Alright, I'm going to take this little spot along the south side of my garage and transform it into a really nice raspberry patch for my 2-year-old daughter as she grows up. I remember as a kid going to my buddy's house at the end of the street and just loving picking fresh raspberries in the middle of July on a hot day, and seeing the bumblebees and the grasshoppers jumping around. It was such a cool experience, and I want to recreate that for my daughter. So last year we planted, that was a Willamette, and this is a heritage, just to prove that the soil is kind of viable enough for raspberries. Since they're a little bit choosy on a soil acidity and those things, I was concerned, but it turns out these things grew really well. And we're going to prune out here late in the winter anything that's weak, leaving the strongest canes to produce fruit this year. And then as a general rule of thumb, anything that fruited, you can either cut at the ground or just the top portion that fruited, leaving the rest to fruit this summer. So now we've freed up some space for new canes to come up. As soon as the soil is thawed, as early in the spring as you possibly can, you want to come out here and amend the soil. So this 35-foot span, we're going to dig a 12-inch wide trench all the way down it and mix 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 topsoil, compost, and native soil. That's going to give our berries good drainage, and because we're along a little bit of a slope here on my garage, that will also help with drainage too. In Ohio, we have a very heavy clay soil, so this is a really good idea to come in here and amend it. So I obsess over researching things and learning as much as I possibly can. And all the favorite websites that helped me learn everything I could, I've saved below to help you. So back in February, we pre-ordered 17 bare root plants, 6 new varieties. Sometimes these berries will sell out, so that's why I ordered them back in February just in case. And I picked like the first or second week of April for delivery, because by then the soil should be pretty well thawed. I picked raspberries based upon the time of the year that they would come into bloom, so that I have something in season from early July all the way through October. And I also picked berries based upon taste and cold hardiness. There's reds, yellows, purples. This is an investment of about $100 in those bare root plants. So the good thing is that we're prepared. As soon as they arrive at my house, I can put them right in the ground. So my goal is to show you from beginning to end everything that goes into making your own raspberry patch. So be sure to subscribe and follow along. We have a couple of bare root raspberries. I have 3 of them that showed up today. I'm waiting on the rest. These are Joan J. And what you got to do is take these out, and we're going to dunk them in some water here for a couple of minutes and get those roots nice and wet. We'll just spread an area about 3 feet long here. I'm just keeping it so the roots are going in that direction for this one. Cover it up. Just compact that down a little bit, and that's it. So for this one, we just come in right next to the other, try to get it down a little bit so that the top of that root is maybe an inch or so below the soil line. This looks great. You know, these raspberries, they don't go too deep. They just go straight out and they spread out pretty fast. So, the next step is we're going to clip these. That'll invigorate them and spark some new growth. Just like that. We'll just water the soil a little bit. In fact, we'll just use some of this water that we soaked them in. Just to give them a good start. So it's Sunday today and it's really nice weather, so I thought I'd dig a couple of post holes for our trellis and get that started since we need to do it anyway. So I went down 4 feet and we put those posts in, and they're nice and plumb, and I cemented them down. Check back, we're going to have another video on that later when we complete the trellis. Alright, it's a beautiful day today in Cleveland, and all the bare roots just showed up, and I've already planted a few of them here. Now we're going to finish it out. Got boyne, there's more boyne, got some nova right here, and then there's our Joan J's that we planted last week, and then this whole row right here, this is going to be we've got Fall Gold, Purple Royalty, and Taylor, which is really a good tasting raspberry. So, and if you look here, we're actually bordering these off. See that little border? So that we give each of these types of raspberries room to grow and root and, you know, really set in here. So these are the Taylor raspberries that I got from Indiana Berry. They were some of the best looking ones out of all of them. And, you know, you don't want to plant them too deep and not too shallow. Maybe an inch or so below the previous soil line that was on that cane, and compact that soil down. You don't want any air pockets below that could dry out those roots. And then you want to definitely water these in really good, and then twice a week for the first few weeks to make sure those roots do not dry out. And check back, we're going to have some videos on the trellis construction and just follow-ups on compost and fertilizing and just all the other maintenance that's involved. And raspberry plants are on sale right now, so you want to go to the store and get one if you can. Get it in the ground as soon as possible. That way those roots can get established and new canes come up that will produce fruit either this fall or early next summer. So now's the time to go do it. They're not going to be around in a few months, so if you get a chance, go buy some raspberry plants. And remember, subscribe below and follow along as we fill in this raspberry patch. Thanks for listening. Bye.